NASCAR Cup Series has held nearly 2,700 races across more than 170 different tracks since its inception in 1949. And of those 170 tracks to host a big league NASCAR event, they ranged all the way from ultra-modern, state-of-the-art cathedrals of speed to simple dirt ovals carved out into the countryside. But the true magic of NASCAR is that you don't have to dump millions into a facility for it to be a fan favorite. A little ingenuity and some good management can go a long way in making both drivers and fans alike happy as can be. But some tracks today live on in infamy, detested by drivers and viewers alike, and some even by the people who built and managed them. Maybe the tracks produced boring races, maybe they were a dump nobody wanted to go to, or possibly they were just so dangerous that drivers said to hell with racing there, or in a few cases, all of the above. So today let's take a look at what I think are the top 10 worst tracks to have ever appeared on the NASCAR Cup Series schedule. To make this list, there are only two criteria. One, you have to have hosted at least one Cup race to date, and two, the track has to have a fairly uniform history of being bad in some respect. I'll be looking at the track's overall history inside and outside of NASCAR. So a stretch of bad races recently will not override decades of good racing prior. So with all of that taken into consideration, let's get into it. Number 10, Talladega Superspeedway.
What?
All right.
I'm joking. I see already, so yeah,
okay,
I knew it was going to happen.
Talladega today is a fan favorite with rabid turnout, drunken days-long parties taking place in the infield, and great close pack racing happening on a regular basis. But there are a lot of underlying issues that just barely put it on this list. When the track first saw the light of day in 1969, it was mired in controversy. A tire war between Goodyear and Firestone led to a driver walkout, and only 3 competitive cars took to the track, as field fillers were brought in at the last second. Bobby Isaac, one of those competitive cars, dropped back early on. And then of those 2 that were left, a scoring error means that we're not even sure which one of them actually won the race, even to this day. Add that rocky start to a litany of driver injuries and fatalities, and now we're talking about a track that is almost too dangerous to run at. NASCAR legend Tiny Lund lost his life here, Wendell Scott suffered a career-ending injury, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. had a wreck in 2012 that gave him a bad concussion and eventually led to his early retirement at the end of the 2017 season. And if all of that wasn't bad enough, Bobby Isaac once pulled off the track in the middle of a race and got out of his car because he said he heard voices in his head that told him to stop or else. Later in that same race, Rookie of the Year winner from the previous year, Larry Smith, died in an accident. And let's not forget about Bobby Allison's 1987 crash and Carl Edwards' 2009 wreck. Now we have to talk about how this is one of the few tracks where fans actually risk life and limb just sitting in the stands. And we haven't even talked about the multi-car pileups that make car owners seethe with anger at the mere mention of this track's name. The big one is such a ubiquitous event associated with Talladega that nobody wonders if it's going to happen or even when. It's a matter of how many times it will happen throughout the day. Nowadays, races at Talladega are so marred by wrecks that they routinely go over their allotted runtime. And just this year at the second Talladega race, the event got booted off of network TV and was sent to cable, and hundreds of thousands of people never even got to see the end of the race. Oh, and I haven't even mentioned the yellow line rule yet. But hey, that's a topic for another video. It's a fun track, no doubt, but man does it have one sordid history and a lot of modern kinks to hammer out. How racing at Talladega will look as the years roll on is yet to be seen, but whatever happens, it will remain a fan favorite for a long time, no matter how badly it hurts the wallets of every team in the sport. Number 9, Kentucky Speedway. Only a phenomenal final race in 2020 saved this track from being higher on the list.